Okay, so we are live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok to address any and all of your immigration questions. So if I look at you guys over here, hi, we are on Facebook and so on. If I look down is TikTok, so it depends on where I'm gonna get the messages. Okay, so let's hit up your immigration questions, anything you might have or not have. So let's just go ahead and address them. So one of the most recent questions that came about was about the Supreme Court decision yesterday. It is not a final decision. It's about, can the US government deport people to South Sudan if they are not citizens of South Sudan? So there was a judge who said, no, you cannot send people to South Sudan, and then it was escalated to the United States Supreme Court, and there is a temporary order that came from the Supreme Court that says, yes, as an emergency basis, you can deport people to South Sudan, even if they are not citizens of that country, they have never lived there, they don't know anything about that country. So unfortunately, that's the way that is gonna go. So keep in mind that it will go back to the decision of the judge. It will go back to the original court. So this is not a final decision, but in the meantime, people can be sent there. So if you are from Congo, for example, and you lived there your whole life, then you moved to South Africa for a few years, then you came to the United States. If you are claiming that you cannot go back to Congo and South Africa will not take you, then the government can very well choose to send you to South Sudan or El Salvador for that matter. So this was a very, very bad decision from the United States Supreme Court yesterday and is affecting many, many people, especially people with final order of deportations or with withhold of removal, people with who have other applications filing, but they didn't file them on time. And one that comes to mind, it's asylum, if asylum was filed after the 1 year deadline period. So unfortunately, all those protections are going away. People with approved or prima facie eligibility on U visas, victims of crime, T visas, victims of trafficking, Violence Against Women's Act, none of those protections are being observed as they should by law. So many of these things are illegal. And unfortunately, the government gets away with it. The rules apply to them when they want to apply, but the rules do not apply the same way to the applicants. The rules do not apply the same way to the attorneys for the applicants or for their processes. So keep that in mind. If any of you have any immigration questions that I can address, I'll be more than happy to try and address them here. Just keep in mind that I cannot give specific legal advice to you only. And also, you might want to be careful about what you say on the public forum because you never know who's listening, right? So if you guys have any questions, just please put them in the chats, either social media or TikTok, okay? So that was the most recent decision. The other thing that we see happening, we've been getting some calls today about what do we do? Is there going to be a travel ban for permanent residents? There are some videos circulating out there that say permanent residents cannot travel more than 3 times a year outside the United States. It's going to be red flag. Well, that's not exactly how that's going to work. So many people do travel weekly outside the United States on business. Some people travel outside the United States more than that for pleasure, to visit family, to do whatever they need to do. So keep in mind about what you see online is not necessarily 100% accurate. Even what I tell you here may not be 100% accurate, because there is no accurate response to your particular situation. You should not form decisions that will alter your life based on what you see online. You should always consult with a licensed immigration attorney. Okay. I don't see any questions yet, so I'm just going to keep going and talk about things that matter to me. So, good, let's go through that. So keep that in mind. The travel ban also is talking about people from certain countries. How are certain people going to be coming in? Some of the other questions coming up are about the student visas. How are they going to look at their social media? And of particular interest when it comes to student visas is that when you are going to apply for a student visa, setting your account to private is no longer sufficient. So you used to be able to set it to private, and now they will force you, they will ask you to move it from private to public so they can see all your posts, all your private posts, all of everything. And the presumption is if you decline to move it to public, then they are going to deny your visa. If you move it to public and you know it's something there that may not necessarily help you, for example, right now, me talking against the government may not necessarily be a good thing. But if they see that and you're not a US citizen applying for a student visa or trying to return to the United States, they could consider that against you. Okay. So keep that in mind. Student visas, your social media presence, things that you do online, things that you post online. I had just reviewed an application for a DACA applicant a few years back. I didn't do it. It was somebody else who said, well, I've been stressed and I've been stressed because of the elections. And I've been stressed because I don't know how the elections are going to turn out. That's what she put in the application. Well, that's not something you want to put there, okay? Because you don't know who is going to interpret that against you. So people think sometimes it's just so easy. It's just a form. We need to fill it out and be honest about it. Well, sometimes disclosing too much is an issue. So you need to know how to strike that balance between telling the truth, not lying or misrepresenting anything, not committing fraud, and still maintain a level of privacy that you might want to maintain or keep certain thoughts private. Okay. These days with social media, we think we are invincible, but we are so not. Okay. So let's keep that in mind. So, any other topic that you guys wanted to talk about, let me know. So I'll wait for a couple of your questions before I keep going on and talk and whatever. So those are the last things. People are afraid to go to their immigration interviews, their biometrics appointments. They're afraid to file change of addresses, or are simply not filing applications because are afraid of getting a denial. Well, the current policy is if you are getting a denial for an adjustment of status application, a TPS, DACA, anything that it's an affirmative application, if you are getting a denial on that, if you don't have an underlying status that you can revert back to, that it's still valid, then you are going to be placed in removal proceedings, which means they're going to deport you. So they're going to try to deport you. So keep that in mind. If you want to file an adjustment of status, a green card application, you want to file for asylum, you want to file for work permit, for example, based on, you're here on H-1B that's expiring and you want to file something else. You want to change from one visa to another. All of those denials will be referred to the immigration court. And then remember what happens in immigration court. In immigration court these days, because they want you to do the right thing and they want you to be there, you go to court and there is ICE everywhere. the government's attorney will ask that the case be dismissed. The judge will dismiss the case. You leave the courtroom, and ICE picks you up and now places you on the emergency removal docket. So that's where the issue is. So people are afraid of filing new applications. On the other hand, the alternative is not filing anything, especially when you have options that are available to you. So you have options that are available to you, but you're afraid of filing, which keeps you in the same position that you have been on. And that is an issue. So you should discuss your immigration case with your attorney. You should make a decision with your attorney, not on your own, and decide, is this the right time to file? Can I file? What are the pros and cons of doing so? Which one weighs in balance more? And then make an educated decision based on your life, right? Based on your priorities. We have people who have final order of removal and they still want to file an application for a benefit because the positive thing, the outcome could be positive, and they are definitely interested in that. And there are other people, we have to tell them, I cannot help you with this. You should not be filing. If you're filing this, you're filing it against our advice. We cannot advise you to do that. So the whole situation right now has a chilling effect on people filing the proper applications, trying to do the right thing, people going to court, people trying to do the right thing, people following the actual process that is set by legislature in the statute. They are trying to follow that, and it's just not serving them in any way. So as we all know, this is not about doing things the right way. That's the way it just comes out. So since we do not have any more questions, I am going to probably finish the live right now, and we'll address maybe more in a couple of days. Any questions whatsoever? If you forgot to put them here or you want to address them in private, give us a call. Our information is in the bio, or send us a message and we'll be happy to get back to you. All right. Bye, guys.